You don't hear me though.
It ain't the Holy Ghost. It's the Holy Breath.
I need a nurse. I need a nurse.
Marketing thing.
Huh?
I learned last year the IF, the intermittent fasting works.
Does it?
It works. I've been trying it for like 3 months, and I lost like 9 pounds, not even without a breathe of it.
Yeah.
Just eat between 12 and 7:30 your meals and stop, and then you don't eat again until noontime again. You get 2 meals between 12 and 7, and a snack.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Her Perspective. To our live audience, we're so glad that you are joining us today. You have been waiting for today to happen. Anybody as excited as I am? Absolutely. So we have a couple of things we want to cover. This is why men won't commit. We've had some conversations over the past week, and one of them on this panel said that women can't handle the truth. I'm not going to say which one did it, but somebody on here came for them on Facebook and said, really, women cannot handle the truth. Well, we're going to find out today. So what I want you to do is share this live right now with all your girlfriends. I want you to tag them, put their name in there, call them, say you got to jump on this live so we can have some good, informed conversation. Can we do that? Okay, so I have some special men joining me today, and I feel so special being the only female up here, y'all. I feel a little extra special. I do. They're handsome too, right? Y'all better say that. My husband up here too. Okay, so today we want to welcome our special guest, Mr. Vincent Jones. Will you wave at the people? Mr. Lorenzo Newby. Mr. Brandon Reese. Mr. Marlon Gay. And Dr. Clark Lazare. Thank you. I appreciate that so much. So listen, as I said, we are streaming on YouTube if you are not on Facebook, so don't let anybody tell you, well, I can't watch it because I don't have a Facebook account. We are on YouTube as well. So make sure you put it out there. Guys, if you have accounts and you want to share, you can share also. Let them see you do your thing. So I think that's it. Y'all ready to get started? I think they nervous. I'm looking at them. They sitting all calm and quiet. We gonna see y'all. We gonna see if they are nervous. How y'all feeling today? Come on, how y'all feeling? Use y'all mics and talk back to me.
Doing good. Doing good.
Y'all look
Looking
good.
forward to it.
Okay, so the other part, somebody told me take a little bit of feedback out of this microphone. I am echoing. I hope you guys in Facebook land can hear me loud and clear. But somebody said also that they were going to be ready for the ladies today. They said, yeah. Actually, what they actually said, and you know, I don't do the gossip stuff, but I thought y'all ladies needed to hear this. They actually said, we're going to be ready for those heifers.
I would never say that. I would never say that. Thank you.
It was in fun. It was in fun. Now, they weren't trying to be mean, but they listened to some of our lives, ladies, and they were like, oh, really? They coming like that? We're going to be ready. So they start, coming together and so forth. So I am ready to have this conversation. This is all in good fun. So continue to share. Even throughout, I want you to share. If you have questions, please put your questions in the comments. I have a team who is paying attention to that, and they'll get those questions to me. If it is for a specific panelist, put their name in there. If you remember, if you have to describe them, we'll try to figure out who the question is for if you can't remember. But make sure you ask some good, wholesome questions. So as we get ready to go today, all right, fellas, I'm ready to do this. I couldn't wait. So let me tell you guys this. So it's just us talking right now. The reason I decided to do this was my husband and I, for those of you that don't know, this is my husband of 32 years. We had a conversation about commitment and relationship. And so both of us, we're writers, we're bloggers. So he wrote a blog about why men don't commit. I was so intrigued by the blog. I said, please hold that. I want to do a show about it because I think the ladies will want to have some good conversation about it. So that's how we got here today. So the more I talked about it, the more people were like, yes, please have this because we need some answers. So here it is. I'm going to share a little bit with y'all and y'all can talk back to me. I looked some stuff up and y'all know what Cosmopolitan is, right? Okay. So Cosmopolitan said men who have problems with committing, it has become a pattern of behavior. That it is not something necessarily that you are born with, but it is something that society has, I guess, created an avenue for you to do so. Does that make sense?
That makes sense.
It says it seems like you are waiting for a woman who will inspire you to act differently. I need somebody to talk back to me.
Interesting.
I think that women, they are incredible. They want the commitment, but I think that when men start to the process of the relationship, I think sometimes that we move a little too fast. We move a little too fast in the relationship in the beginning, and we kind of miss some stuff and not building a good friendship first.
So when you say we, you mean both of you?
Both.
Move too fast?
Both.
What causes that?
It's because sometimes, whether it's the male or the female, someone having an overabundance of likeness of the person, or they're beautiful, or he's handsome, and then they run with it. And the thing is that when you're running down the street and you haven't taken the time and done your homework about the person, you make those mistakes.
Brandon, you agree?
I think that I guess I can only speak on. It's kind of like the topic is broad, right?
Sure.
So I think that for my generation, I'm only 32, so I think that with I guess people that are around my age, I think it's voids mostly. Like I look at voids as like like potholes almost, right? So like you can drive over a pothole, but you can't drive over a crater. And I think that we oftentimes look for someone to fill voids, like almost like the 80-20 thing that kind of does or doesn't exist for some people. So I think in my generation, like it's just we're more so influenced by things that aren't even real, I guess, like TV and you got rap videos or what have you. And I think that a lot of people see these things and they're influenced by something that doesn't even exist. And so for me, I've asked, I've had barbershop talk with like friends of mine, and I've asked why, and a lot of it is, like voids. Like, so oftentimes you'll see like one man with like 3 or 4 women to fill in a void or a hole that they believe that they're missing. When in reality, it's really minuscule if you think about it. So that's just my opinion.
I think, I'm sorry, again.
Okay, so let me add a second part onto that, and then I'll come to you. I love both of your answers. I think y'all starting deep. Yeah, y'all starting deep. So let me add this part on. Further, the article said that culture has shifted the need to commit. And what it means by that is that sex and commitment has evolved to the point that you don't need to be committed in order to get what you want. Now you can respond.
Oh, wow. Brandon, I think the word you say, influence, really plays a lot to do with it. I'm a person, I've been committed for the last 41 years. I've been committed to my favorite team, Miami Dolphins. Okay? Through the good, through the bad, I've watched every game. And it started because the relationship with my father, that's how we spent time together. So from a young kid, he was taking me to the games. My bond was so strong with the Miami Dolphins, I was going to name my son after Dan Marino. I was going to name him Dan Marino Jones. That was going to be his first name, Dan Marino. Okay? But I grew up loving that team. And what's happening is that a lot of young men, they don't have an influence of a positive relationship in their lives. So the reason why I grew up loving the Miami Dolphins has nothing to do with the team, but because my father, he raised me that way. He raised me that way. So it's hard for a man to do something he was never taught how to do.
Oh, wow. I like that. That's good. Okay, so Dr. Clark, would you respond about the culture shifting? So since you got a little bit of age on some of the others here, because based on the article, it says the culture has shifted because now there's no need to commit. In past time, to get what you wanted and however you see that, there had to be some form of commitment. But now they have apps like Tinder and different things like that there's no need to be committed. If you want to hook up, people hook up.
People hook up. Yeah, I think the culture plays a big part because back in my day, you had to be intentional as far as who you were trying to connect with. And you had to invest time into that. Now you're able to invest time to a multitude or a myriad of women on an app. And so there's not that connectivity, that human feel. And so therefore, you almost go along with it. And I attribute it like this. I assimilate it, I should say, like this. When you have $50, you manage the cash in your hand better than using your debit card. With your debit card, you're able to spend it much faster than if you have the $50 in your hand. We treat our relationships like they're cashless now, as opposed to having that intimate interaction.
Dang, doctor. All right then. Marlon.
Oh, sorry. I
No,
thought you wanted me to speak
I
after
do.
that.
I do. Would you like to?
Yeah, I was joking. I was looking at something earlier because I didn't want to come in here without doing some research and having an understanding of what we would be talking about. And I fell on teenage pregnancy. And I know it seems left field, right, to mention that as far as committing is concerned. But the more you think about it and the more I thought about it, I realized what one of the gentlemen said, I think it was you, about having being able to see the role model or the example of what being in a relationship looked like. And so in turn, I thought about teenage pregnancy because if you're growing up as a 15-year-old with a 30-year-old mother, you're not seeing that mother have a relationship with a husband. And the kids start to see that as the norm. And these boys grow up in that situation. They become boys masquerading as men, and they don't have the desire to do something other than what they saw growing up.
And that's what, when I thought about men failing to commit, and I started reading, and I said, wow, this is something that I think plays a part in that. I don't know if she's waving the flag or not, but oh, she did.
But great answer. I do see the correlation. I do. I see the correlation between those that might be teen moms, because the way you parent would be different than somebody who is a little bit more established, and then they're raising the kids by themselves. They're not married. So there is that influence that. I definitely get that. All right. So let's go a little bit further before we get into the questions, because we're just talking about now generally why men don't commit. There are a whole lot of different answers, I'm sure, because we're coming from different lives and you all are different age brackets. So this is just very generic in nature, but it's enough to get you thinking. Mm-hmm. So here, I want to put this out there, because this is what I think the ladies really want to know. What does it take to get the relationship to go to the next level? And we're going to start with Lorenzo.
The next level, that would be something that I think that both have to create that closeness. The woman have to create the atmosphere of, that creativity where you bring the man when he comes around you, and your personality, where he loves to be around you every day. Whether you're cooking, doing something at home with him, he has fun with you. He has to have fun with you. If he's not having fun with you, then he's gonna start to find some, what my young man would say about the voids. These voids are because he's looking for voids to fill in what he's looking for. But now the men have to be more straight with the honest conversation of what he wants from the woman in order for her to give it to him. But she needs to know. But you need to create closeness, because men, we are visual people, but we have to see it, have to feel it. Emotions are there in men. You just got to bring it out of them. If you can get a man to bring that emotion out, you're winning. You are winning.
So I heard a lot of groans. I see my staff is flagging. Do I have some questions coming in here? I saw some flags that is just like, hey. There were quite a few things that you said that even with me, I kind of was like, oh, I don't know about that. So I do want to give you an opportunity to explain just a little bit further, if they can give you a little bit more time. You made the analogy that it's the woman's responsibility to create an atmosphere of closeness.
Yes, because I think once the man lets her know he's interested in her, he wants her, he do the little chase thing or something like that. But once she knows he wants her, okay, and he's interested in her, then at that moment, she has to have that confidence and to start displaying how she's going to pull him in. If she's unable to do that, she's going to lose it. And she only have a small window to do that.
Oh, wow.
She don't have a lot of time to do that. Small window to grab his attention. And then if you grab his attention, he's going to follow.
Wow. Wow. Ladies. Oh, my goodness. Okay. I want to go to Brandon. I want you to respond to what he said. Do you agree, in your generation, since you're a little younger, is that how it is? Be honest.
Not really. I think, from what I've seen, to take the relationship to the next level, unfortunately, I think it's adversity. I think you don't really truly know someone and how they will respond to something until something happens. So, I've seen people get in fights, and I guess the strong survive or the relationship survives, and then you'll see if they can overcome whatever it is that they've gone through, especially if it's enormous. Then I think that would take it to the next level, whatever that may be, I guess.
So is that up to both? That's because what Lorenzo said, it's the woman's responsibility, and the window is small, so based on what she does or what she says determines if the relationship goes to the next level or not. So I guess I'm asking, is that?
Yeah, I don't think it's the woman's responsibility. I think a man kind of leads, and then the woman follows. So I think a man should lead, I guess. Yeah. And so I mean, for me, I've seen adversity. I don't think you really truly know someone until, you know, you overcome something that's unfortunately not that great. So, and then from there, it would determine whether or not you can go to that next level, or if it kind of.
But don't you think that something has to take place before that? Before the decision is made to where you want her long term or in a marriage or whatever, something has to create something in you.
Right.
What did she do to you to make you want to be with her?
Well, I'm sorry, I want to jump in.
Go ahead, jump in.
You know, I think men go through development stages, okay? And the 41-year-old version of myself is different from the 31 version and the 21-year-old version. So at this point, I'm not really looking at what she does, because if we're talking about what a person can do, we're really talking about a transaction. We're really talking about what can you do for me. It's all about who a person is. Who a person is. I'm old school. My dad was old school. My family's old school. I was raised to believe that the man is a leader. Okay, a woman could smile at you, but she's not going to ask for your phone number. You have to be the one to take that to the next level. And if you want to go on a date, say, I'm going to wait for you to call me. I'm not going to be the first one to call you. And I know there are a lot of women out there who are doing things different. That's fine. That's fine. But we're hunters. We were born hunting. And if a woman is hunting me, I don't even know how to react. I don't. I feel like something's wrong. I think it's a trap. I really think it's a trap. This beautiful woman asking for my phone number. I don't believe it. So I was always created to know that if you see something you like, you go out there and get it. Now, when you have her, you're still hunting for her, not for any other woman. So to take it to the next level, it takes a man. It takes a man to say, I like her, she's different, her cooking's good, her greens are seasoned real nice, her sweet potato pies aren't wet at the bottom. I like her. After church, I'm gonna ask for her phone number. You know I like to eat now. So
all right. Let's bring us back in. So, listen, I told y'all this is getting heated up here. There are a couple, both of y'all mentioned something that, and I know I'm trying to remain impartial up here, but that woman side of me, you know, is kind of coming out, and I keep looking at my husband, and he's laughing. Because both of y'all mentioned cooking. Yeah. And I just, you say you're old school. Yeah. You consider yourself old school as well?
Not too much. I kind of stay, you know, in the middle a little bit, but cooking is important.
Okay, so you're younger. Is that important to you too? Was that a factor?
Not really, no.
Okay, see that's
I'm
what
young like
really.
him.
You're what?
I'm young like him.
Okay, so you, as far as the comment, because I'm feeding the ladies, you know, and I'm listening, and I understand if you're old school the way you think. But some of the comments, like you said, well, they need to be able to cook and blah, blah, blah. So is that a factor? If they can't cook, does that mean that they are not a candidate?
No, it doesn't mean that because she can't cook that she's, you know, you put an X on it. But she got to have something, as far as I said in the beginning. She have to have something that grabs you, that make you want to be with her. Whether it's her beauty, her cooking, her cleaning, her intelligence, something got to be there to make you want to commit to her. What did she do to make you want to commit to her? But
So that's going to vary based on whatever you like.
yeah.
Right.
Okay. So if that's important to you, then
I want to see something that is going to hold me here long term.
is that something you say to her in the very beginning?
If I see it and I love it, I tell her. If she doesn't have it and I like her, I say, okay, well, she don't have it, but, you know, I like her, so then I need to tell her. I need to take the lead in, because now I'm liking her, I'm loving her, so now I need to let her know what I really want from her. That's my job. She needs to know what I want from her.
All right. I need you to jump in here, doctor. Doctor, please, I need you to jump in here.
You know, I kind of tether between the two because the cooking is good to have, but it's not a necessity. I mean, I'm grateful my wife knows how to cook, but it wasn't one of the attributes. I think what happens when a man encounters a woman and he is interested. But I think what ends up happening, I think it's where the lead thing goes. A man will tell you, or you will know if he's interested. But I think what happens is that oftentimes, because of the desire of the woman, she accelerates the process of the relationship, and that turns off a lot of men. And because it turns off a lot of men, now they lower the value that they otherwise would have placed on you had you allowed them to express how they feel or what they think of you. You take, it's not a mystery. And Mr. Lorenzo said, if I'm loving her or if I'm liking her, you know the difference if a man is just interested, kind of like you, or if he is intently interested in you. There is no secret. There is no middle ground for that. And I think oftentimes what we're expecting for them to like us to the level that we want to be liked, that a woman wants to be liked. And so therefore we may push the relationship further than it intends to go.
Okay, you made one point that I need clarity on. You said a woman accelerates.
I think she accelerates.
What
In other
does that
words,
mean?
opens herself up and becomes too vulnerable early on.
Okay, okay.
Amen.
She makes
Amen.
herself
I
too
get it.
vulnerable early on, and I can't speak for every man on the platform, but for me, that's an absolute turnoff, because it's like, whoa, wait a minute. I not quite to the extreme of this gentleman here, but I'm like, well, what's going on? I want to be able to hunt to the chivalry. I want to be able to do that and allow me to do that and express how I feel. But I think oftentimes the woman accelerates, becomes too vulnerable, offers and gives up too much. And so now the man's perspective on the woman just totally changes.
Wow.
Don't care how nice you are.
And so
Amen.
that's why I was saying earlier that the friendship, remember I said the first time I said, when she likes the guy, but then she runs with it.
Okay, so that's what you meant.
That's what I meant.
Okay, so are you all saying that women really do have the control of the pace of the relationship? That's what it sounds like y'all are saying.
Absolutely.
They always did.
Well, I like the topic that we're talking about. Why don't men commit? Because the flip side of that is, why do women commit so easily?
Good question. That's a good question.
That's the next show. We're going to stick with today. Okay.
But
Good question, though.
So let's get into some of this a little bit more detail, because we have a lot to cover, and I want to make sure we stay within our time. So as I said earlier, we were talking about what does it take to get your relationship to the next level. So as I was reading, I came across 6 areas that I want to talk to you guys about. There were 6 areas that they said men don't commit. So I'm going to give each one of you a couple of you to respond to these questions. So number 1, they said men have a fear of rejection. They say many men have a difficult time fully investing their emotions into a relationship because they have experienced rejection. True or false?
true.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Not for me, though. No, I mean, I don't fear rejection. So it doesn't play a factor, because I'm confident in who I am. So if you say no, then okay, I'll ask someone else.
For the guys that said yes, give me some feedback.
I think one of the things that I wrote is that oftentimes men deal with the next relationship based on the failure of the last one. And so if they were all open and the woman mistreated them, that leaves a scar on the man. And so now he has a perception that mostly all women are like that, and so therefore they go into the relationship, and it really goes back to 7th, 8th grade. That if you were all in, you know, when that first love, you were all in, bringing flowers, you were just, you know, saving the seat at the lunch table and all this kind of stuff. And the girl, had interest for someone else in the midst of a relationship. You remember that even as an adult, and so you go into the next relationships with that fear of rejection because you go back to that 12-year-old experience.
Let me jump in here. Women deal with rejection also. But it doesn't seem to stop us, as Vincent said, why do we commit so easily? Probably because we forgive so easily.
Probably
And,
so.
and that's where I think where women are phenomenal and strong. They're stronger than, most men and the thing
I
that.
agree.
But women just
We need that.
have to just take it a little slow, and they'll take over because that's what they do. They're very good. Just take it slow, and he will follow. Believe me. Once he commit to some form of way to you, he will follow. If you doing what I had said first, you have to demonstrate something to draw him in where he's having fun with you and he desire to be with you and he wants to be there with you. He wants to be your king,
All right, so let's go to the next statement. It says that, number 2, men have a fear of changing their ways. Say some men become comfortable in their lives and they don't like change. So a man with this fear won't move along to a new stage in a relationship because that means he has to change his life. Marlon, what do you say?
I think there's some truth to that. I would employ most guys to reserve a piece of themselves when they get in a relationship. If you play basketball on Tuesday nights with the fellas, keep doing it. Because that's the change that causes the problem in the relationship. You're trying to make me out of something that I'm not now, and it creates a problem. I think that's the difference between something being organic and manufactured. And that's the issue in most relationships. From my experience with women, they are more apt to make something manufactured that plays to the part of something happening too fast versus saying, okay, let's make this organic. Let's see where this takes us, because we may not even be right for each other. Even though in the beginning you think that I'm the best thing since sliced bread.
So what you're saying, I just want to be clear. Whatever the relationship starts with, when you meet me and I am how I am and you are how you are, I shouldn't expect for you to change for me, and I shouldn't have to change for you.
No, that's not. No, I'm not saying that. I understand what you're saying.
That's why I want to be clear. I
Right.
want them to be clear.
No, I'm not saying that because there's definitely a give and take.
Okay.
Like you have to be malleable,
Okay.
right? And I'm saying you can't give it all up
Okay.
because now you don't recognize yourself. And once you can't recognize yourself, then you're not who you are. And that's the issue, I think. Because now you can't, be yourself, and that's the change that's the problem, in my opinion.
And it won't last.
It will not last.
Yeah. All right. I get that. I like that. Brandon, you want to answer that too? Said that a fear of changing your ways, that sometimes guys don't go any further because they don't want to change.
Yeah, I don't think I have much to add on that. I didn't have any trouble, because we already knew each other. And so we had already built a rapport prior to, going to that next level, I guess. So I was a young kid, 18. And so, yeah, I was already, we had already established something prior.
She knew you and you knew her.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Doctor, I saw you wave your hand.
Yeah.
Talk to us. What happened?
Well, I think when a man is really interested, that there is not that resistance to change. he is willing to be malleable. He is willing to be adjustive, although you should not lose yourself altogether. However, I think he is interested in doing some of the things and most of the things that she wants to do. I don't think it's a matter of you perform, woman, and then I'll see if I'm gonna stay around. That's not what it is, but I think it's a mutual. I can remember when I fell in love, I had certain plans. However, because I fell in love, that became priority in my life. So now there are gonna be different adjustments to how I conduct my life without losing my identity. But certainly there's some changes that I'm willing to make in order to be with that person, because I have the desire to be with her just like she has the desire to be with me. It's not, I'm on the throne and, whatever.
So if I could be transparent just a little bit, because he's talking about me. And to be honest, when we were young, when we first started a relationship, we both lost ourselves because we were so into formulating a relationship. You stopped playing ball because you did play ball 2 or 3 times a week with the fellas. I stopped hanging with my friends because we wanted to spend all our time together. And we went that route for about a year. But then our friends started, complaining, and people say, "You've forgotten, you don't do this anymore." And I think we had that conversation that we don't do some of the things we did that first brought us together. I need y'all to hear me. And then we had to reevaluate because I didn't want to lose myself, and I didn't want him to lose who he was either. So I think it goes both ways. And so we had to find a compromise that, okay, you're going to play with the boys, you're going with the boys this day, I'm going to go with the girls this day. And then everything will move accordingly. But we both had to come to that decision. I didn't want him sitting up under me all day, not doing what he loved to do. And that's not love. And I think sometimes people misdiagnose love for just attention. There's a huge difference between attention and love. And I think a lot of people miss that in relationships because they just want to be with somebody. And I'm like, you can be with somebody and still be lonely.
That's true.
So I get it. Fear of changing your ways, I think it affects everybody, but I wanted to hear that from the guys because there are some things that you need to just, that's you. Absolutely. If that's you, I'm not talking about stuff that hurts the person. Like, okay, the part I don't want to change is I'm dating other people. That's a problem. Okay? So there are some things that are off limits, but there are some things, that definitely that you can probably move forward with. All right, let's go. Number 3, and I'm coming on this side. It says fear of failure. Some men think committing themselves to a relationship means that they must meet certain expectations. Come on, talk to me, Mr. Lorenzo.
Expectations. Let's see. Well, we go back to say, well, when the female is running down the street with a relationship because she having a vision of how she think it should be, then that's where that expectation comes in the bar because she starts trying to tell him what he should be doing, and he's going, wait a minute, I'm supposed to be the lead here. You're not waiting on me. You know what I mean? Let me make these decisions and stuff, and then we'll grow together. Because if you run down the street, then you might be down the street by yourself.
So you don't think the decision should be made between the two of them?
Not directly right away. I think that, like we talked about the commitment, at some point he has to commit, but she still needs to grow with him. If she get too ahead of him, then she's setting herself up for failure.
All right, Vincent, you want to jump?
All right, I guess I got to be the cleanup man, just get my broom and, from my perspective, I think that out of all the things that we expect to do but we're not taught is to be good in relationships. How many of us were sat down and explicitly taught how to have a relationship? Not how to have feelings, how to manage conflict, how to court a woman, how to entertain company. A lot of us weren't taught that. but yet we grow up expecting knowing how to do that. So that's why the fear of failure is very valid, because you're expecting me to be something, you're expecting me to be good at something I was never taught. So where do our norms come from? We do what we see other people do. We do what we were wired to do when we were raised. How we love right now it goes back to how we were raised as children. If you ever go to therapy and you start talking about your issues today, they start asking about your childhood. They start asking about your child because how you were raised, what type of home you were raised, has a full correlation with how you conduct your relationships. So a lot of times men are afraid of succeeding in a relationship because we were never explicitly taught what to do, how to do. We do what our friends do. We do what our uncles do. Maybe what some other male figures do, what we hear in songs, okay, what we see in the media, what we see on social media. So that's why there's little confidence, because we don't have our own playbook. We're just borrowing from other people.
Okay, before I go to the next question, you didn't have an example.
No, I did not.
So how did you turn out the way you turned out? Because you didn't have a father to teach you how to have a relationship. So what happened to you?
I pretty much was trained like David. I saw everything what not to do. And I saw how it didn't work. And I knew what I longed to have for my grandmother and my mother. And so when I became in the position to have a relationship, I wanted to make sure that I became everything that that woman wanted.
That's powerful.
And so that was my goal. How to do it, I had people come into my life, my uncle, my pastor, and I saw examples of it, but it was really from afar. It was nothing intimate, but I had to follow my heart, because I believe that when you really love somebody, your heart will guide you every time. And so I had to trust my heart over my feelings or my inhibitions.
Amen.
All right, let's go a little bit further. Okay, so number 4 says independence. It says many men grow up to think that they don't need anyone for anything. So they expect to take care of themselves and not depend on anyone, especially a woman. Marlon.
I mean, I sympathize with that question, because depending on how you grew up, your environment, the way you were raised, because you're a product of your environment, you are everything that your past is. You may have to grow up being independent. You may have to grow up being a man early, taking the lead early. So as a result, that carries through your life, no matter what the relationship is. It could be a relationship with a friend, a cousin, or whomever. And so that type of behavior and that type of wiring is difficult to break, because that's what you know. And so as a result, you go through life doing whatever that is until somebody make you understand that there's a better way. And I think that that's the challenge. Finding out that there's a better way, making the adjustment, and then having that level of understanding that allows you to change.
All right, excellent. Let's go on to number 5, an inability to share life. It says some men have a huge commitment to their lives and the lives they've created for themselves. A person in this category may be highly successful and could have reached a level in his career that makes him financially secure. They are not willing to share. Brandon.
You said what was the?
Yeah, basically, a man who has reached somewhere in his career, his business, that he's successful, and he's at a place that he's not really ready or willing to share this with another person. They like their money, they like their house, I like my stuff, and I don't want to be disturbed by having to share this with somebody else.
Yeah, that we would call that a bachelor, I guess, in a sense.
It's a reason, they're saying this is a reason why men don't commit,
Right.
that they don't want to share. Once they've reached this status, that they're not interested in sharing. So what do you think about that?
Right, and to add on to what he was saying, like environment and how you came up, like a lot of that is influenced into that. And so, like the way I watched almost every relationship in my family, like just fail. I mean, aside from those who are widowed, like every single person has been married multiple times. And so, like when you come up and you see that, and you realize you get to a place of you're pretty much financially great. Like you don't want to take the risk on like bringing somebody else in, especially marrying them. I mean, unless there's a prenup involved or something. But no, you don't want to take that risk on committing to someone when you already have your, you're already set on your end. I mean, unless they're bringing something to the table, but to share it, like mine is yours and yours is mine. I don't.
Would it make a difference if they brought something to the table that you thought was equal? Would it make you feel more comfortable then to enter into a relationship that she's successful, I'm successful, I have this, she has that? Does that matter?
I think for some people, yeah. I mean, like I guess it depends on the person. I mean, with what you're kind of describing sounds like a bachelor almost, and so like he'll commit to a degree, but he won't. Most of the people that I know, at least, they won't fully like commit themselves all the way. They're afraid of losing what they probably took them a long time to.
Well, this might be about bachelors. Yeah, basically, this is people who won't commit.
Right.
And they're saying, I don't want to share
Right.
my success. I don't want to share what I've accomplished.
Right.
So I do want Vincent to jump in quickly on that. What do you think about that?
Well, I think it stems to how you see a woman. If you see her as a liability, and of course you're going to say, no, this is my wealth. I'm going to keep, what the wealth I amassed, and I put a lot of hard work in my career. But if you see a woman as a blessing, someone who can multiply the happiness in your life, to give you life and life more abundantly, and I'm not just talking about tangible things. I'm not talking about your available balance, your bank account. I'm talking about someone who can make you happy. Because from what I remember, Adam was king of the world when he was created. And God said it's not good for a man to be alone. So apparently God saw a void that Adam needed. And what did he do? He created Eve. So I see a woman or the woman that God is going to bless me with, as a blessing. I have two broke dependents at home, my kids, Anthony and Kendall. They're at home playing Fortnite right now. They contribute nothing to the household. As a matter of fact, they mess up everything. They drain me of my money, but I love them. I love them. And so I see them as blessings. So it will all stem from, if a bachelor says, no, I'm not going to share this, that's fine. He's not ready. Then a woman needs to be aware of that. But if you see a woman as, man, this is a woman of God. This is a Proverbs 31. She's going to multiply.
So
what
that's
I have.
So that's a red flag. Then, if you're in a relationship with somebody who does not want to share their success, they don't want to share their accomplishments, and they're very verbal about it, is that a red flag?
Absolutely. A man that, let me tell you something. A man that is in love, everything that he possesses becomes open. If there are safeguards that he's placing and puts value and protection on certain things, then you're not, as in there as you might think you are. I mean, and that's the reality of it.
Well, if I'm asking you to meet me in the middle financially, and if that's the impetus, then it's a business agreement. right? We're entering into a partnership. So that's the difference, I think.
Yeah.
If I want you to come to me and say, hey, I'm on equal footing financially, and that's what the relationship is based off of, then it's a business agreement. It's a partnership in a business.
True. I got a question from the audience that I think goes along with this. What if the woman is more successful than you?
I think
He has to finish it. It's ended with him. What if she's more successful than you?
Well, I think that that's fine. I think, no, it's fine because you have to be secure in who you are as a man. Like financially having more money than I do doesn't make you superior to me. It just makes you have more money than me. So I know that as long as they print money, I can get money. So that doesn't bother me.
So more than
wouldn't.
just the money, the success,
Yeah,
the
success.
prestige.
Yeah.
This sister got it going on.
Well, I think,
Yeah.
well, the issue with that is who defines that?
Society does.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
who are you dealing with, society or me? Because if you're dealing with society, then that's where you need to be.
In a society.
You need to be out there dating society. Because
Okay,
you
but
can
wait.
let all that external stuff define you if you want to.
Right.
But if you come home with that, then we'll figure that part out.
But the issue is, let's stay focused. The issue is that men, most of you up here said you want her to bring something to the table that's at least equal. Not you. You said
Right.
that would be a transaction, not you. But the majority said,
No, I
bring
disagree.
some. Oh, so now y'all changing?
No. I
Yeah,
never.
y'all
I
y'all
never-
changing?
I never mentioned anything about a table. I never mentioned anything about a table.
Okay,
or
so
bringing
we
anything.
talked about the woman, what your expectations are as far as her bringing what to the table. Marlon said if it's based on equity, then that's a transaction. Okay, I got that he said that.
right.
But some of y'all said that you have to bring something because I'm not willing to share my success. I'm not willing to share my money, and I'm not saying everything, but she needs to come because Ren, you said she has to come to the table with something. So the audience person said, what if she has more than you?
Okay, so if she has more money than me, I'm gonna be her cheerleader first of all, because that right now will more than ever going to make me become that team player. Because I'm gonna keep being a cheerleader. I'm gonna keep pushing her to be her greatness, But I'm gonna find a way to compromise with her, and we're gonna build that. I'm not gonna walk in there and go, okay, hey, it's got to be my way because whatever. No.
So you'd be okay with her making more money?
I'm sure I'm gonna be the cheerleader.
Okay, all right. You good? Let's go to number 6. I know we got stuck in that question. Number 6, I think, is probably going to be just as intense. They said that men don't commit because they like keeping their options available.
Ooh.
Oh,
Some men, some people who are always looking for the next best thing will not commit because they don't want to close the door on other opportunities.
good question.
You want to pick up, huh?
Come on, Brandon.
Come on.
We start with Brandon.
I mean, that's true, I guess. I think dating is nothing but an interview anyway. Like, you interview the same person multiple times. You interview other people to see if you will hire them to, and vice versa. And so you could date like 1,000 people if you want to, but being like monogamous with one person is completely different. So, I mean, but you're saying commit, like that's not the same thing as dating. So I think if you're gonna commit to one person, then you should only be with that one person. So, but in order to date, like, yeah, you could keep your options open, I guess, as long as whoever you're dating knows.
So we're talking about commitment.
Right.
So we're beyond just the casual dating, okay? So we're going past that. Y'all gonna interview them, and they're it for right now, okay? So the question is, even in that, do you keep in mind the reason you won't go to the next level is that it might be somebody better, is what this says here. You keeping your options open is why you won't commit. You like, no, okay.
I think, to me, my perspective as a man, that is where I say women have to always, it's like your brand. You're always on display.
Hold your microphone up so they can hear
You're
you
always
now.
on display at all times with a man. So he's always watching you, how you carry yourself, what you do. That's what's going to, remember I said that's going to draw him in. That's right there is your signature sauce. But what you giving him on a daily basis, right there. You know? Don't be taking no days off now.
Don't take no days off, man.
Don't take days off.
Don't take no days off, man.
Every day.
7 days a week.
Yeah, don't do that.
Oh my God. Okay. It is so funny. It is so hot in here because these ladies in here like, I'm looking at their faces, the body language. I'm telling y'all, when we go off the air, I don't know what's gonna happen. Because I'm like, oh my goodness. Okay, let's go a little bit further. I have some questions that the ladies have submitted, and I want to get to those. So let's start here. In one of the lives I did, I taught the ladies about an analogy I read that this author wrote about being a fisherman. And he said men are like fishermen. And I don't know if you guys fish or not, but I grew up fishing. So they said it's a difference between a sports fisherman and somebody who fishes for keeps. So I've done both, that, you know, you fish for fun and you just throw them back, or you fish for keeps. You take them home and you eat them, okay? So with that analogy in mind, y'all agree that, is that simple enough to use as a comparison? Okay. So let's start with the questions. Under that category, someone asked, why do men get involved with women they know they're not interested in? In other words, why do you keep the fish for a little while and then throw it back?
It's because you're shopping. I mean, our whole thing, what we do, we shop. We're going to date, shop until I find what I'm looking for. That's what we do. I mean, women, on the opposite, are looking for the committed relationship. Men is trying to look and see which one he wants to buy. That's what we do.
But I think women should do that as well.
I think they do it.
We just don't know, huh?
Well,
We
you
just
do
don't
know
know.
that.
Some
you
of
think,
them.
you think you're the only one she's dating when you're dating?
That's what she told me in the text message with the emojis. I thought that. No? It says,
No?
No? Okay. I'm not the only one. Please.
I mean, they leave their options open as
They
well.
do. They
you
just
know,
do
it's
it
funny
better.
you say that about fishing, because I fish, and then a buddy of mine, he says all the time, he says, you fish for sport, I fish for support. And so when you're out there fishing, as far as before you make a commitment to a young lady, I don't know if it doesn't make sense to continue fishing and put one or two of them back, because they don't cook right? They don't eat well. You know, and then you can't eat every fish you catch.
That's right. I want to continue with the fishing analogy. Hostess, when someone is fishing for sustenance, food for their family, they have a different perspective rather than someone's fishing for sport. Because if I know that this fish is going to feed my family, I'm more focused. I'm more serious. I take it more seriously, okay? But if I'm already full, or if there's something else I'm going to eat later, I don't really need that fish. It's just for entertainment. And I'm sure we all know the verse, when I was a child, I thought like a child. I played with toys. But when I became a man, that's when I put away my childish things. And men, yeah, we play with toys, but it gets a little bit deeper where we're saying, I need something that's going to sustain me. Not just something for sport, but that type of mindset comes a little bit later on in the man's evolution. Right. At 31, I heard that, but that wasn't applying to me. I was fishing for sport. Now at 41, I'm saying, hey, I'm fishing for sustenance as support, as you said.
Okay, so for you, it's age driven. I'm coming. I see you. So you're saying it's based on age.
No, evolution, because there's a lot of age does not indicate growth. For me.
Okay,
Yeah.
so for you.
Yeah, for me,
Because
yeah.
somebody can be 21
Yep.
and be ready.
Yep, committed. Yep.
Okay. All right, you wanted to jump in here.
I think we make the assumption that everybody's fishing is fishing for the same reason. And because you get caught by the hook doesn't mean that he intended to keep you. And so
Say it again, Bishop.
and so I think that's where the feelings get hurt, because you're thinking because someone threw their hook in there that they're ready to be married, and really they were just fishing for sport. And
I don't think they heard you, Doc.
and because of that, you get upset because now he keeps you on the side of the grass for a while until you're just about out of air, and then he throws you back, and now you want to follow the boat saying, why didn't you keep me? And so it's just, it's the reality.
Don't
It's
give
the
it to 'em, like
reality. And so therefore we just have to be aware and be real with what we're dealing with, because not every man that's looking for a woman is looking for a woman to commit with.
Right.
And that's the reality of it.
I'm gonna need to play this again on YouTube.
Wow.
This sponsored by
Okay.
Snappers.
Let's go a little bit further. The question is, why do men enter into relationships knowing that they are not emotionally healed and delivered, because hurt men hurt women? This is under the same analogy. Go ahead, Brandon.
I think it's voids. Again, going back to what I said earlier, or a rebound, if that's how you want to look at it. Like, I think you should let the person know how to respect, and then give them the option on whether they want to continue on with whatever it is that they're doing at that moment for however long. And yeah.
What if, okay, so then what if he doesn't let her know, but now she wants to know? Should she ask the question?
I mean, I think his actions will show. I mean, if you're only getting called at 11 o'clock at night, like, that's
He just get off for work. He just get off for work.
He just got off work.
He get off for work. His shift end at 10:15. So
Hey, if he's calling only at 11 o'clock at night, he needs a Band-Aid. That's it.
Oh, man, this is
But don't women try to repair men?
change them.
They like broken men.
projects.
They do. They do. They like to repair men. So you see it all the time. You say your cousin and her boyfriend, and then you wonder why. You say, why does she always stay with him? The dude's crazy. She's trying to fix him. It happens.
It happens.
That's how I see it. I mean, I don't.
But I think there are a lot of broken men and broken women. A lot of broken,
Sure.
like all of us have our baggage. Just because you have faults doesn't mean you're not functional no more. It all depends on how are you dealing with your stuff. You know, if I tell you, hey, you know, I'm going through something right now, but I still like to get to know you. You know, let's meet up for some coffee. You know, a fish sandwich, since we're talking about fishing tonight. You know, that's a man who's being honest and transparent. I may not be ready right now, but I enjoy your company. I enjoy your company, and the woman can say the same thing as well. As a matter of fact, I think the more time a man and woman spends in the friend zone, the more time they have to find out some red flags. Once you get on that highway, there's no U-turn.
Okay, so since you brought up friend zone, now what you all consider friends might not be the same thing that women consider friends, because honest friendship does not include benefits. But men think that friendship includes benefits. If a woman doesn't think that and she's giving you the benefits, then she automatically thinks that this is more than a friendship.
Yes, she does. She does.
So the conversation needs to be had in the beginning. Are we friends? Or are we booty buddies? But it needs to be real, and the conversations are not being had because it starts out with this attraction and fun, and we hanging out, and then it leads to that. And if you all on two different planes, then I can see how easily it is to get your feelings hurt. But this question was about if a man has unresolved issues. Yes, we know that both do, but we're talking about men right now. So if a man has unresolved issues, especially if he doesn't talk. Now, most of the time, I know y'all hear women say men don't talk. Now, I know this is not for every man. If she's trying to figure out what's wrong with you emotionally, if you're withdrawn, can I take this a little further? You might be withdrawn or not as easily to share your feelings or your emotions. And she may know of something that happened to you emotionally, and you're not over it, but you want to be in a relationship, whatever your definition is, might not be hers. So I can see somebody going into a relationship thinking that, okay, if you ask me, as you said, you approached me, then I'm thinking you're ready.
I agree.
Yeah, I'm thinking you're ready because you approached me, but internally, you might not be. And going through the process is when you discover, because you don't figure that out on the first, second, or third, because everybody's still manufacturing. Everybody's still fronting. Right? You don't floss, then you know you don't floss. Let's tell the truth. So I think the young lady that wrote this, she was just talking about you're already into it. And she might be trying to fix him. I mean, once you're into it, now about women signing up for projects, I don't know. Hey, I'm not that kind of woman to be trying to fix you. You got to be together, but maybe that's true. I don't know. Maybe it's true. Maybe there are some women that feel they want to make you better or help you. I don't know.
But isn't that the nurturing in women, just the innate nurturing that you guys possess that will take you in that direction to help as much as you can because it's just within you?
Yeah, but
that motherly innate nature.
I do think women by nature are nurturers, but not just men. We nurture everything. So, we help in every aspect. But to say we sign up for projects that we go into it thinking, I'm going to fix him. He need fixing. I'm about to go with him. No, I don't think it's like that. I think women look beyond the issues. And think that, you know what, if he gets a good girl, I'm nice, whatever, I can help him, that we can grow together. I think in their mind, they might think at the end. But I don't know about signing up looking for people to fix.
So,
I don't know.
No, they don't.
I mean, if you know it in the
don't
beginning and you choose to, what you say, look past that, you know what's there already.
In the beginning, though, you're not putting all your cards out. That's what I said earlier. In the beginning, everybody's still trying to impress. So you might not know how deep it is until you keep going and you keep going. And before you know it, as I heard on the live, you catching feelings.
Yeah.
So then it's like, I'm in this, what do I do?
Doc, let me ask you a question. How much of the situation as far as the relationship is concerned do you put on a scale and you say that outweighs this, and I can deal with that because this is higher on the scale, or it tips the scale in its favor and I can work with that? How often does that happen with women when it comes to men? Men do the same thing. I think they do because I do. I look at things with my wife and I say, I accept that because her attributes outweigh the things that I may not like at this moment. And so you may try to make an attempt to repair something that probably can't be fixed, but you look at the scale and say, okay, even if I can't fix it, her attributes that are greater outweigh it. And I think that that's the part that I'm talking about when I say women are, in a position where they try to fix men in some cases.
So there are some things that are not deal breakers.
Of course.
Yeah, we can look at some things and say, okay, I don't really like that,
right.
but it don't really.
It's like and I know we have to move on, but it's like if you're a man, right, and a woman gives you multiple kids, you're not gonna leave her because she has stretch marks as a result of the kids.
I hope not.
Well, I mean, guys do it.
They
right?
the reason why
God-
we got them.
I know, but I'm saying people
Tiger
become
stripes.
shallow like
Tiger
that.
stripes.
So
Wow. Okay. Whew. It's getting hot up here.
Need some water.
All right, let's go a little bit further. Now, the next set of questions are about what turns you off. So the question was, can men sense if a woman is desperate, and does that turn you off?
Yeah, I'll jump in before anybody else jump in.
Come on, Pastor.
I think a man does have that discernment with if a woman is too thirsty or is just ready from jump. And I think a man can see that, and it is a turnoff, particularly if his makeup is to, lead you, and not lead you in the sense I'm the head and you second. No, in the sense of pursuing you, in the sense of, being chivalrous and things of that nature. And if he sees that the woman is just desperate, it's a complete turnoff, because it creates a whole dynamic that it's not even attractive. Yeah. It really isn't.
Well, in a sense, we're talking about commitment, but the thing is that she can, like I said, women can be phenomenal, but if she offer too much too fast, she can lose them. He might say, well, wait a minute, I ain't signing up for all this right now, what she's doing. That's why we're talking about the pace of the relationship, and she might feel a 10 and he feeling like the 7, but she need to be careful with the 7, stay with the 7, she feels like the 10. Stay with the pace.
Well, it goes into,
I don't think that matters.
All right,
go ahead.
come on, Marlon.
No, I just don't think that matters, because you can find a situation where someone could marry after the first month and it can last 20 years. I mean, I don't know if pace matters that much. I think that if you want to make the commitment, you make the commitment.
Okay.
So,
but
no,
that's
I'm just-
something she done. She had to do something. If he married her in that fast pace, she had to do something to grab his attention or something.
Because I think that each case is an individual case. Each marriage is an individual marriage. Like, okay, I'm marrying you, so it's the two of us. Our situation is dictated by our instances as far as what we go through, what we see, how we relate to each other. So each marriage is based on two people. So the outside influences are just that, outside. With me, I mean, I've been married 18 years, and so it's been a challenge to be married 18 years. I never thought I'd be married that long. I never thought I'd be married. But I figured out that the person that I'm married to is right for me. So it could have happened day 1 or day 100. I don't think that there's a barometer that you have to check with to see if it's long enough or short enough, or if she's too early or too late. I just don't. I don't subscribe to that. And I'm not saying it's right or wrong.
No.
I'm just saying I don't subscribe to it, because I think, a guy could meet a woman and they could fall in love and live happily ever after. I mean, be naive, but I think that's possible.
I agree.
Okay, Lorenzo, you've said, and this is going to lead me to another set of questions, but you've said this pretty much the afternoon about what she needs to do. So this next set of questions is about support, okay? You said she needs to pace herself, she needs to stay with 7 and not try to go to 10. Why should a woman commit to you? What is it that you bring to the table? Because men tend to have all these expectations of women. What is it that you bring that she should commit to you?
I think for me, I try to make sure that she feels like she is number one all the time. Every single day, I stay checked in. You be the man that she desires you to be every single day. You have to be giving her something that she's fulfilled with it every single day. It don't have to be material things or what, but it got to be a value or something that you're giving her that she needs every day from you. And that's what
Okay,
I like
so
that.
that's what I wanted to hear from you. So you're giving her, you're basing this on not only is she bringing something, but you're bringing something to the table as well.
If I'm going to demand all these things from her, I have to first give her the worth of what she know what I am for me to get it from her. So I have to let her know, okay, listen, I'm going to be this guy, and I need you to be this woman.
Okay. All right. So you didn't say that earlier, and so I needed to bring that out because, yeah, I was like, okay, let me help because I'm like, I was like, let me help you out a little bit. Okay, so let's stay with the support questions. It says men often state that they need a woman to support them. What is your definition of support from a woman? Let's start with Brandon. You don't want that question?
Support from a woman. I mean, just being there, you know, encouragement, you know, I guess asking if there's any, you know, if he needs anything, there anything that she could do to make, I guess, to take the load off on whatever it is that he's doing. I mean, just kind of be around, you know, like to at least a shadow, but not like clinginess or anything, but like just kind of be there, I guess.
I'm glad you brought up that question. So you said not the clinginess. That's under another category, but we might as well stick with that. It says, what do men consider clingy? Since it started with you jump on that,
Okay.
and then I'm gonna come on over to Vincent right quick.
I mean, I guess just like let me get some elbow room. You know, like if I'm on the couch and I was already on the couch and you were on the couch, like you don't have to come in like, you know what I mean? Like all the time.
You don't want me to sit?
Yeah, I want you to come.
No, I mean like if we were already just, you know what I mean? And I think a lot of times when it comes to clinginess, like from what I noticed from my generation is, like I think social media has a big influence on like a lot of like what's going on with my generation. Like you'll see people out in public and they won't hold hands, they're not nothing. And then when you see them like like when you go to a gathering or whatever the case, and now they look like they are, you know, and I'm just like, well, I just saw you. You didn't think that I just saw you, but now on Facebook, you know, so.
So clinginess is to invade your personal space?
No, why y'all taking it that way?
No, I mean because I asked you to define.
yeah,
Y'all
yeah.
want to help him out? He's struggling.
Okay.
Okay, what's clinginess?
Clinging to me as a man, I would think that when she doesn't have enough things going on in her life to keep her mind as fulfilled or something. If I'm going with the guys or the sports bar, I'm doing the game night or whatever, and then, okay, your phone is bringing up and she's texting. They say, well, why is she calling me when she knows she needs something other than me to fulfill her? I can't be God every day for you, every minute. I need to step out the house and go see my family or my best friend or something. So she needs something else, emotionally, mentally, or whatever, to drive her until I come back.
All right, I get that. All right, Vincent, you want to jump on that, or did they did a good job answering that?
Well, no, I just want to add a little piece to it. I think there's allowing someone to miss you is very important. Allowing someone to miss you. And I know that, you know, we get into a relationship, the feelings get all high, and we want to see him every day. Give him some time to miss you. I know you want to text, I know you want to call him. Give him a few hours, because the worst thing for you to say, like, just like you said, I just got on the phone with you, like, you know. Like, but when you miss someone, they are leaving wanting more. But if I'm full of you, I don't want any more. Or, you know, I'm bored, or the anticipation or the excitement has decreased. Because the more time you spend with someone, the more you get to know them. Okay, so the more you get to know them, your interest in them should increase. But sometimes if you don't manage the time and the relationship the correct way, your interest will decrease. And in that exciting guy that you first met, at the church social or whatever, you're like, oh, he doesn't excite me anymore because we spend 24/7 together. Okay,
right.
text him and leave him on red.
Okay, so is clinginess a deal breaker?
Yeah.
Yes?
It can be.
Is it a deal breaker, Marlon? It's tough. Is clinginess a deal breaker?
I think so. I think so because clinginess can cause you to now do things you normally wouldn't do on a regular basis. So therefore, you're feeling pressured because now you're stepping outside of your norm. Things that you would organically do, you're manufacturing. And where the heart is not, fabrication exists.
Or trust. Because if you're calling me all the time, I'm thinking you don't trust me.
That's right.
And if you don't trust me, there's nothing we can do.
That's a good point.
I just don't need you to
But
be
having that conversation though, and I want to go back to what you said before. These conversations need to be had because if a mature man is going to be with a mature woman, let's sit down and say, hey babe, I know I enjoy spending time with you, but I want us to give each other a little space, not space to disengage. Okay, there's different connotations. Space to miss each other. And I think she may have her feelings hurt, or he may have his feelings hurt. But when you are seeking to understand, but I just want to understand where you're coming from. Having these transparent conversations are like vitamins. It may be tough right now, but in the long run, it's going to be good for you.
All right, so let's continue. We're down to our last 8 minutes. I'm going to stick with the deal breakers since Brandon took us over there. So do you think women who date multiple people simultaneously are promiscuous?
Well, I mean, they can be. But how do I know?
Is it? I guess the question is is it an assumption? Because it seems to be a different standard for men than it is for women.
Yeah.
So the women feel like when they date multiple people at the same time, they're considered, and the proper term live is promiscuous. But you know what is said. But for a guy, he's just being a guy.
If a man knows a woman is dating different guys, then I can tell you right off the bat, he's not going to take us serious. He's not going to
Say that loud.
He's
what?
not going to take you serious.
No.
You can do what you want, but the thing is, he's going to come, he's going to play, and he's going to keep going because he in his mind said, well, I don't want somebody having something that I'm trying to love. That's what it is, right?
I've been on the roster before.
So if you're dating, then you're dating until you find somebody who you think you want. But if he know you're dating, chances are he's not going to take you serious.
Okay, so same question the other way around. So you said guys are fishing. And guys are going to keep fishing until they find the fish that they want to keep.
She should fish, and I'm not saying you shouldn't fish, but if you come across a guy that you think that you want, you got to pull yourself off the market and let him know now you want him.
But what if he's not pulling himself off the market because he's still fishing?
Okay, then that would be something that you have to have that honest dialogue that you want him, but if he's not willing to give it to you, then you need to pull yourself out of the
Okay.
market.
All right. So they should have that conversation
Exactly.
if the relationship is moving in that direction.
Right.
Are we going to be exclusive or not?
Right.
That's right.
Okay. All right, Marlon, you was trying to jump in on that.
No, I had a fleeing thought.
Okay.
So,
All right. So let me see. We got 5 minutes, y'all. This is so good. Okay. What is your definition of love?
Oh. Definition of love for me would be something like with my wife that I know she's my heir. I need her every single day. And if she's not there, I'm not going to eat right or sleep right. Something's off with me. I'm not going to be myself because I let her become the part of me. She's here. I carry her every minute of the day with me and back in my mind. my
Dang,
heart,
man, I
everything.
felt that.
That's deep. Did y'all hear that?
Because you was walking,
You get points
you
for
were
that.
walking on thin ice up here a couple times. I was
You
like,
redeemed
No,
yourself.
no.
You
because
redeem
I-
yourself, bro.
That was good. That
Redeem
was
yourself,
good.
Renzo.
That was
Because I
good.
made the commitment, so and you know we've been married 23 years, so now I know for a fact that's what she is for me.
All right. So let's go a little bit further. Brandon, why is it so hard for guys to tell the truth?
I wouldn't even answer that. Come on, President.
These are not my questions.
Object.
These are questions from the
Objection.
audience.
Objection.
These are this is you know how it started. I told you the person that women can't handle the truth. This was the question, and you know, I'm sure by now they know the person who said on this platform that women can't handle the truth. By now you guys should have figured out who said it. Yeah. So why is it so hard? And I realize this isn't every man, but let's just say generically, if a man doesn't tell a woman the truth, why is it so hard?
The excuses that I've heard is the woman, I guess, or women, I guess, is to protect their feelings, so to speak. So you would lie to keep them from being hurt. And this is what I've, you know, I'm
I've
brutally,
heard that too.
I'm brutally honest, so I don't think there's a need for it.
It's almost like if she goes and put on some makeup or something like that, and she says, because the girlfriend tell her this lipstick looks good, but to him he goes, man, I don't like that lipstick. But then he let her go out the house and he don't even tell her that it doesn't look good. He's supposed to tell her, babe, wait a minute, and if you like it, you can wear it. I don't like it, just to let you know.
I think from
Wait, before I get you, you said women can't handle the truth. What's the truth of that? The truth is letting her go out with it and not saying how you feel, or the truth of she can't handle you saying you don't like it?
She probably, because most women, when they getting ready or doing things, you know, and they do things a little different than men, but mostly for the other women or other society or whatever. But if he tells her, if you want to tell her, he probably won't tell her because he said, well, she loved this color. I don't want to like take it away from her. You know what I mean? She's into doing this, and so if I tell her,
So
I really
it's
don't like it-
not that she can't handle the truth. It is more about the man's perception on what will
No,
happen if they
it's
say.
that I think that if I be direct, honest with her, I could hurt and take away what she really want to do.
So what makes you think that she won't do it because you say you don't like it?
Because if I paid attention and I think that that's what she continuing to do, then that tells me that she likes it. She
Right.
wants- I
No,
mean,
my question is, you use lipstick, okay?
Right.
So let's just say she gets this lipstick and she wears it, but you said I won't say anything because she likes it, even though I don't. The question is why men don't tell the truth. You said women can't handle the truth. So I'm like, what part of the truth? You saying I don't like it, or that you let her go out with this and you didn't say anything?
Well, I think the truth comes down to what part of relationship you're in with her also. Like if you're married to a woman for a long period of time, yeah, I think most men would be honest and tell them the truth. But if we're dating and I'm trying to capture something, he's not going to put all the truth on the table because he's still trying to figure the narrative out.
Isn't that
Or- No,
I'ma tell
manufacturing?
her.
That's mine.
Or you don't tell her because you love her.
Marlon, I had such hopes for you. You don't tell her because you love her?
Because you want to protect her feelings. And what's the point of having someone leave the house feeling bad as a result of you telling her you don't like her lipstick? Because to me, that's nothing. Like,
Okay,
that's
but-
how I look at it. And I know
What
it's just an
if-
example.
Okay, yeah, we just using lipstick.
Right.
But what if she's unsure and she's asking your opinion?
Tell her.
Then you should tell her.
And then, well, if she asks you, then,
You should tell her.
or even if you say, babe, that color, you don't think you have a liberty to say,
Because-
I don't know about that color. You like that color? It's a way to say it.
If she picked it and she bought it, I think she
What do
likes
you-
it.
jump
so
in here. What do
I'll
you
reinforce it. So yeah, you look
We
good.
talking about lipstick again.
Yeah, we
Okay.
I think it's a matter of, men lie because they try to, I think it's twofold. I think they're trying to protect their own interests, and they're also trying to protect her because they don't think she can handle the brutal truth. Because if I keep giving you signs that I'm not ready, but you taking me to meet your mama and you taking me to meet your family and you're going down that road, and I've been saying that I'm not ready, so I don't tell you the truth because I've been trying to say it indirectly and you will not listen. So therefore, what's the point?
And
Yeah, I didn't really like the lipstick analogy. I prefer a woman cooking on Sunday over the stove for like 8 hours in the crock pot, and then it's disgusting. And so,
I'm not gonna say that.
no, I mean, no, I'm
Brutally
serious, but and then you just, I'm honest, so I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm not eating that. Sorry. Or do you tell her after slaving over a stove for 8 hours?
I would eat it.
I would.
You-
I would eat it the first time,
Wait.
but then,
Nah, I would eat it.
but
Because it goes back to the scale again for me. Like, that's why everything's personal. Because I know that that's inconsequential. I know that's small ball.
now if she cooking every day though, that's it's.
Nah, I mean, look, you can learn to cook, right? But it's some intangibles that you just have. And if I identify with those intangibles, then they outweigh the bad cooking. So I'll nibble around the edges of the cooking, that's fine. But if we don't see the eye to eye on the things that matter in our life, the real issues, then that's the problem.
Yeah.
The cooking, I'll cook myself. I'll get up later and get me a sandwich. Like, you work with it.
But see, I think that we haven't developed the tact of how to express ourselves, of how to tell the truth. At work, when bosses have tough conversations with us, they make sure that they're clear, but they have to be politically correct. So I'll be honest with you, I do not want to be in a relationship when I cannot tell you, I will have to lie to you. If your mac and cheese is soupy, I'm gonna tell you. I don't care how many people in your family want you to bring the mac and cheese, but I have to figure out a way where I tell her and I'm clear, but I don't want to disrespect her effort. Because if she's slaving over the stove, she's doing it because she cares.
Right.
I want her to know, hey babe, I want to eat your cooking every day, but I don't want to have to eat it with a spoon. If I eat your mac and cheese with a spoon, then we have a problem. Let's go in the kitchen together. Let's go in the kitchen together, and let's figure out a way how we can make our mac and cheese more dense. I don't want to eat it with a spoon. I'm just saying, soupy mac and cheese, but I don't want to disrespect her effort, because I like to eat. And she's doing that, to make the home happy. So we just got to practice our script. We got to practice telling her the truth.
Right.
And I'll be honest with you, women have dumped me because I have been too honest with them.
But
That's fine. They can't take it.
So you got dumped because you put too much.
emphasis on the mac and cheese.
On the-
And you're clapping
Right.
for the single guy on the stage.
Exactly.
I just want you to know that.
That's right. That's right. That is right.
Oh, wow.
So this is an
Okay.
experiment that hasn't really proven out to be, work.
All right, we're coming down to the end. I have one final question that we're going to end with. But I do want to add, we went from lipstick to mac and cheese to whatever.
Don't forget the fish.
But I think the underlying point, Brandon and Marlon and Vincent, is that he said don't disrespect the effort. And that stood out with me. Because I think if somebody did put forth an effort for 8 hours, even if it were horrible, I would try to eat it. But if we have a relationship that I can introduce some humor to kind of make it funny, so I'm like, okay, so next time we gonna put a little salt in here, to make it funny, to take that sting out of it, because I think the effort really is what matters. And I'm gonna say this. I cooked something yesterday for my first time because yesterday was Bishop's birthday. So
Happy
we're
birthday.
not. Yeah, so you're not going out now because we're doing this whole social distancing thing, right? So I really wanted his birthday to be special. I have never done a seafood boil, low country. I tried to do this like Carolina style. So I tried this in 1987 with some blue crabs. It was a disaster. And I was really still emotionally scarred, but I knew that's what he wanted. So I looked up stuff. It took me an hour and a half reading, trying to figure it out. But I have a little Carolina partner who texts me what to do. I was really stressed because I wanted it to be nice, and I was doing what I was doing, and some things weren't coming out quite the way. And I was like, oh my God, I'm so stressed. What made me feel better was he kept saying, babe, it's gonna be great. Babe, it's good. Babe, it's great. So I'm looking, afterwards. It turned out pretty good too, y'all. But I'm looking at him eating the food, and I said, nah, this joker better not be lying to me. Because, I said, I know he'll save my feelings, but we do have a platform of truth. And so I began to ask him, I said, babe, really, tell me where I can just add some things or whatever. He said, no, really, seriously, it was good. He said, babe, it was really good. And because he said that, and of course other people ate there, but it made me feel it was worth the effort. It was worth it. I was like, even if I have to change some things and do things better, because he was happy, I don't mind. I didn't mind. But if I did that and he told me it was horrible, I'd be like, you won't get another seafood nothing up out of here. You will see a crab in heaven first, brother. I'm telling you. That would have been my mindset because I would have felt like my effort didn't mean anything. So I needed to just say that quickly. So last question. What makes a man consider a woman wife material? And everybody's going to answer that one. We're going to start with Marlon. That's gonna be it for tonight, y'all.
I don't know if the question is answered in a universal way, right? Because it's an individual situation, and I know I keep saying that because I believe that. So, to me, it goes back to what are your attributes? What is it about you that I think can help me grow as a human being, help us develop a relationship to move forward and grow old together? And if I can see that in you, then I think that whatever else I may not favor, I can deal with. And I think that that's what you have to be able to do. I was joking earlier about my age. I'm 46 years old. I think, you learn some things as you get older. As the brothers say, you evolve. And when I was younger and I thought that I was cute and good looking and the world wanted to get to know me, I may not have been able to submit to some of the things that I thought were, I could brush to the side. And so now you get older and you understand how small certain things could be.
All right. So let's
That was
jump
clutch.
over here,
That was
Vincent,
clutch.
right quick. Yeah, go ahead. You're next. What makes,
yeah.
you remember the question?
Yeah,
What makes
ahead.
a woman wife worthy in your eyes?
well, first of all, make sure that mac and cheese ain't soupy, but no, I'm joking. Seriously. I want someone who I feel that is a blessing from God. Someone who will help me realize that I need to be a better man. Some things I need to change. Some things I need to cut back on. Some things I need to increase. Someone's going to tell me the truth, no matter how bad it hurts. Someone who I feel that we can pray together, we can laugh together, we can eat cereal at midnight together when we can't sleep during the lockdown. Someone who I enjoy spending time with. As we get older, man realizes that like he's fishing for support. So as younger men, we're thinking of. We have lust on our minds. Let me just be honest with you. We what looks good, but as you get older, you start thinking less about lust and more about legacy. What do I want our kids and grandkids to have? I want someone who's going to walk with me like Coretta did with Martin. I want someone that's going to, I can love like Christ loved the church. Okay? When I was young, I wasn't even talking like that. But those are the type of things. I see you. I see you. I'm about to close it up.
Bring it on in.
Yeah. Someone like that.
All right. Brandon, what made, because you're married, what made her wife worthy?
I think she was bringing things to the table that nobody else was, and not only that, but I was learning, and I guess she's very spontaneous, and so we're from different cultures, so I learned a lot about her culture and my culture, and she was different from, I guess the antithesis to me, which made us a lot closer than who I was dealing with prior. And because she's so spontaneous, like we still pillow fight, and I'm 32, she's 30, and so we don't have any kids or anything. So we do things that are, she does things that are different from everybody else, and then we constantly keep it going by doing different things, things that I don't like per se, that I've learned to like over time. And her interest in mine, and we travel a lot, so yeah.
All right, so she introduced you to some things.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
All right, Lorenzo, what makes a woman wife worthy?
Cooking. Cooking is a must. Friendship. For me, it was friendship because I know that when you work hard every day and you come home, I wanted someone that was very unselfish, someone that was giving, willing to be down there every single day to your needs and stuff and what's most important to you. And then when I started to see that in her, because some other women say, well, I love you too, but no, you're not willing to be paying attention into what was important to me. She did. She took the time to make sure what I wanted was important. That's what made me put the other fish back and took her.
All right, what makes a woman wife worthy?
Right here.
Amen.
I was looking for someone that was intelligent, but someone that can stretch me, and someone that was independent, but willing to be codependent together. Someone that is willing to evolve. She is my anti. I'm very logical, detailed, methodical because of my training. With her, she is very spontaneous. She is very creative. And so we complement one another. I needed a woman that was willing to take me with all of my flaws and still love me just the same, not love me based on her tolerance of my flaws. And so someone that was willing to do that, and that's the beginning of what I started looking for, and that's what I found.
Amen.
Wow, all right. Well, we have come to a close. I am so honored to have had the opportunity to talk to all of you. I love y'all personalities, and I think this was a perfect fit. I do. I think it was a perfect fit. So for those of you that are watching, thank you for joining us. So be sure to continue to share this live with your friends and your family. Do a watch party with your girlfriends. Stop, have some conversation. I think this would be a good thing to use to get some conversation going. This is not the end. We couldn't cover everything in one segment, but I thought we got a pretty good start. What do y'all think, audience? We got a pretty good start. So we thank you. Please be sure to follow us. Her Perspective group is on Facebook. It's for women only. It's an opportunity just to share some resources to strengthen the womanhood. So be sure to join Her Perspective. Follow us on Facebook at The Spirit-Led Life. Also, we're on Instagram and Twitter. Stay in contact. We have some more stuff that are coming up soon. And with that, I think it's going to be a wrap. They're going to cue the music. We're going to stand. Fellas, I love y'all, man. This was really, really nice. So we're going to stand on our feet. Thank our audience. Have a great day. See y'all later.